serious challenge yet to his 15 years of rule, and in the process tightens his grip over the nation. Thanks for tuning in for your Daily Dose. The victory greatly expands Erdogan's authority and reinforces, without a doubt, one-man executive rule. The new system of government abolishes the prime minister's position, gives Erdogan the power to form the government, appointing ministers and high-level administrators, preparing the budget, and deciding unilaterally on security policies and budget concerns.
We will begin working to fulfill pledges we made to our people. We have completed our preparations regarding the new presidential system to a large extent.
Erdogan survived the failed coup a few years ago, but when it came to the people's own voices, this was a resounding victory for him. A former senior advisor to Erdogan recently spoke with I-24 News, expressing his belief Erdogan would easily win because he had earned the trust and the respect of his people.
It's very likely that President Erdogan will be re-elected with a margin of 55%. People are very appreciative of what he has done in the last 16 years.
It's a major international story of important consequence. Joining me in studio is our senior international affairs correspondent, Owen Alterman. Thanks for being with us, Owen. But first, we're going to start in Turkey right now, in Istanbul, with our senior Middle East correspondent on assignment, Mohammad Al-Kassim. Mohammad, first question, I guess, to you. How do minority parties now, the opposition really, how do they maintain any kind of voice, any kind of power at the parliament under increasingly authoritarian one-man executive rule?
Well, they just have to work together. We have seen during this election something that we haven't seen in the past, Jeff, that the opposition was more united than before. But they were not able to defeat President Erdogan for a number of reasons. You just mentioned one of them, that the people have been appreciative of his influence on the economy, but also they wanted stability, they wanted continuity, and that's why they voted for Mr. Erdogan. As far as the opposition is concerned, right now they have to start rebuilding. They have to work on the masses. They have to work on President Erdogan's constituency. They need to make a dent in this solid constituency, to go outside the big cities, which they have been winning in the last few elections, but they haven't been able to beat President Erdogan in the last 15 years. And that's what we are hearing from opposition leaders and parties here, that they have to start working in the rural areas. They have to start making their voice heard in the parliament, despite that they don't have the majority now. It's President Erdogan's own party, the Justice and Development Party, and the alliance that he went into that is called the People's Alliance. But they still have the ability to make their voices heard and to challenge Mr. Erdogan. It won't be easy, but it can be done.
Mohammad, give us a sense for our international viewers where you are exactly and what is behind you, because I understand certainly Erdogan faces a very sluggish economy, but he is a man who has promised massive building, canals even, giant mosques, giant presidential palaces. He wants to build and build and build. Can that be sustained?
President Erdogan, Jeff, has been able to revive the economy here in Turkey by investing in major mega projects throughout the country, from airports to bridges to tunnels and to building mosques and building, areas for, investments and tourism. And behind me, there is a symbol of Turkey, the old Turkey and the new Turkey. The old Turkey is Kemal Atatürk, the person behind the new republic. But the new Turkey is this mosque with the flag, the Turkish flag on top of it, mixing both this new found our emerging religious approach to the new Turkey with the somewhat religious president now, as well as the Turkish flag, which gives it the cover of nationalism. And that's how President Erdogan has been able to consolidate all these votes and the masses, telling them, yes, this is Turkey. The majority of the Turkish population is Muslim, but at the same time, that Turkish people are proud of their nationalism and their flag. And he has been successful in getting this vote. Now he has tremendous challenges ahead of him, from the economy to the lira, the currency that has lost 20% of its value just this year in comparison or in front of the dollar, and also the refugees, the Syrian refugees. And in his speech last night, he did say that he is working to liberate more Syrian land so the guests of the Turkish government can go back to their country. But also the challenge here right now for the opposition of how to stop the growing influence and authority and powers of the new presidency. This is a new system, a new age for Turkey, the age of an executive presidency. After 95 years of being a parliamentary system, today is a new era, a new page, and Turkey is governed by a strong executive presidency, and that's what the opposition tried to warn the Turkish voters from. They failed. The Turkish voters still believe in Mr. Erdogan and his Justice and Development Party, the AK Party.
All right, Mohammad Al-Kassim on assignment live for us in Istanbul. Thank you so much for that update. I want to turn now to Owen in studio. We see the building, the construction projects behind him. Mohammad mentioned that really the fact is the economy has faltered. We have rising foreign debt. The lira really is slumping. How does Erdogan tackle that pressing problem?
Well, Jeff, listen, he brought up the elections by many accounts in order to try to beat the economic crisis. Didn't quite manage to do that, but did, by all accounts, manage to keep his position and to keep his majority in parliament. Look, huge economic challenges for Turkey, but what can be said in Mr. Erdogan's defense is that for many, many years, Turkey was the economic wonder of the world. This was an economy that grew year after year and that it was shared growth. He really was able to nurture and to build a middle class of tens of millions of people lifted out of poverty, in some cases out of extreme poverty,
which helps
to building a middle class, which absolutely helps to explain his enduring popularity. Of course, changed in the last few months. We should say the Turkish economy still grew at 7% in the first quarter of 2018, but a lot of people expecting that to drop sharply, especially given what's happening with the lira and with inflation.
Owen, tell me quickly, what do we expect? What can we predict in terms of the tone now of his speeches, his rhetoric? Very bellicose, aggressive towards the West, towards Israel. What happens now that he at least has cemented his power? Will it get worse?
Well, Jeff, it ain't broke, don't fix it. I suspect is what Recep Tayyip Erdogan is going to be telling himself. I think most of us are expecting more of the same, whether you're sitting in Israel, whether you're sitting in other parts of the Middle East, whether you're sitting in Russia, whether you're sitting in the West. I think the expectation is for more of the same. Erdogan has, of course, used the economy as a key pillar to building his support, but also his foreign policy and his cultural attitudes, and part of that cultural attitudes, his attitudes toward the West. I don't think anyone expects that to change. If anything, people expect it to intensify.